First of all, thank you for having me. When I mentioned to my friends that I was driving down to Houston from Dallas to make a 10-minute speech, they started laughing at me. Well, first they started laughing because they said there's no way I can have a 10-minute speech. And then they said to me, "You serious? You're gonna drive 4 hours each way to talk 10 minutes? And I told them, "Nah, you missed the point. I'm driving 4 hours each way to meet Belize's future." It's an honor for me to be here today, to share with you a few moments of time, to talk a bit about education and about our future. When my dad told me at 15 that I was moving to the US to live with my mom, I was mad. I mean, I was really mad. There was no discussion about, you want to go, do you have any plans? No, they just told me, 2 weeks, you're gone. I was so mad that I didn't speak to my dad for many years. The stubbornness of my youth had kept me from seeing that this was really the best thing that could have ever happened to me. Later, when I was talking to my dad, once I'd calmed down about 3 years later, I realized that what they wanted for me was to offer me the opportunity to succeed. They sacrificed quite a lot to get me here, but it was, in their mind, the best thing they could give me, and today I have to agree. We immigrants have given up a lot to pursue the dreams that we have. A friend of mine recently she's a first-generation Mexican-American, studying to become a lawyer here in the US, wrote a paper recently about the plight of illegal immigrants. Her father came to the US as an illegal, and she writes, "The first time my father crossed the border, he and his group had been walking for 8 days. He said, with each step I took, I felt a hammering pain in my knee, but I didn't say anything since no one else was complaining. On the 9th day, the Border Patrol caught me and 2 others, and we were deported back. By that point, I was so tired, yet as much as I'd been hoping that we would be caught so I could get some treatment for my knee, it is so humiliating when they deport you." Even then, he tried another time. In fact, he tried 2 more times until he finally got in. This is a great and true account of the struggles for betterment that we all go through. It's a really compelling story because it shows the lengths that an individual will go to secure a better future. But what I found most striking in this article was this gentleman's explanation of why he came to the US. The stories and everything, they were great, but why did he come to the US? He isn't here because of the dreams of being a US American, the so-called American dream. He's here because he dreams of returning to Mexico as soon as the opportunities there are good enough and once his daughters graduate college and become lawyers. The point I'm trying to make is that, like this gentleman, many of your parents came here for great opportunities for themselves and for you. Many long to return to Belize. I know I do. They've sacrificed to give you a great opportunity for success. You, in return, have rewarded them through your academic excellence. For that, we as parents are very grateful. But I would hope that someday, they and you and me will all return to Belize to take this wealth of knowledge back to our jewel by the sea, to build a better Belize, and by so doing, improve the lives of our fellow Belizeans. You are the hope on which our country of Belize lies. Belizean sons and daughters have succeeded in academia for quite some time now. You're all following in footsteps of successes, such as Dr. Arlie Petters, founder of Petters Institute in Belize and professor at Duke University, Dr. Avery August, who is professor of immunology at Penn State. He's doing some incredible stuff with cancer research. And the recently deceased Reverend Edmund Ned Joyce, who served 35 years as executive vice president at the University of Notre Dame. These are some really big shoes to fill. In fact, whenever you look on the world stage, you'll find famous Belizeans. People like author Zia Joe from Becca Lamb, musician Pen Caetano, and our recently deceased Andy Palacio. And we have a whole long list of world-class athletes, and I'm sure Wendy will make a mention of one of them later on. But if I were to stand here and list them all, really guys, there's so many of them, if I would stand here and list them all, I'd use up my 10 minutes. I think I've used about 5 already. And I'll probably put a whole bunch of you to sleep. So let's just leave that for now. Suffice to say that you are the next wave of Belizean excellence that will widen the small path that these guys carved for us. But formal education will only take you so far in achieving success. And let me tell you, I didn't go to formal education until after I had business success. The reality is that education is without action is like a virtuoso. It's like imagining Rihanna or Lady Gaga or Usher or any one of them writing songs and not performing them. Or even Michael Jordan or Kobe practicing all day and not playing. It's just not, doesn't make sense. So look to your education the same way. Education is knowledge. Applied knowledge leads to innovation and advancement. Innovation and advancement is the future, and you are the future. I want to talk to you a bit about the future. And trust me, I haven't run out of my 10 minutes yet, so you guys got to put up a little longer. I want to talk a bit about the future. Some of you are in college already. I looked at the roster of the wonderful names on here. And you already made choices of what you're going to do. But there's a lot of others out there who are worried about the economy. Where are the jobs? What jobs in the future? Questions like that. First, let me tell you as a businessman, straight up, the opportunities exist. They're out there. They're out there for anyone who's at the top of the academic field. And by being top students, you already all have that advantage. By studying the disciplines of tomorrow, and I'd love to see some of you going into this, the so-called STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, and math, those are the fields of the future. By studying those, you're a step ahead of others. Second, the U.S. economy is a concern to everybody today. But historically, economies have risen and subsided just like the tides of our beautiful Caribbean Sea. But the world persists regardless of the tides. The world is smaller today than it ever has been. Economies are now global, no longer national. Become a part of the global workforce by learning and accepting other cultures, and learn at least one other language. As Belizeans, many of us have a head start by being bilingual and by being Belizean Americans. But think outside your comfort zone, people. Learn Mandarin. There's so many Chinese out there, or German, or French. Seek opportunities that take you to foreign lands. But most importantly, don't worry about the economy. Do your best. Do your very best. And leave the rest. It'll all come around. Third, the jobs of the future are the jobs in the medical and the green fields. These will continue to grow as population grows and as the existing population grows even older. Just think of China with its huge and aging population that will be in need of even more health care. Or even more closer to home, think about the baby boomers. They'll precede the aging Chinese. Finally, solving the dual challenges of healthcare and sustainability, that'll require a whole new way of thinking. And I want you guys to pay attention to this one, because traditionally we've all been a doctor or an architect. But even if you look at being an architect anymore, it's not just about studying architecture. The best architects will need to know sociology and psychology so they can understand how people use buildings. You have to throw in their anthropology as well, because let me tell you, my girlfriend's German, and the way I use the house as a Belizean and the way she uses the house as a German are completely different. Architects need to understand biology in order to understand the effects of buildings on people. And in fact, they need to understand how the elderly and the handicapped will interact with buildings. So understand that you can't just study one thing. So like the architects, your studies must be interdisciplinary. Don't focus too much on just one area. Take a holistic approach to education and incorporate other areas that interest you in your studies. Lead the way in medicine and green technology, and you'll lead the world. Pursue careers in those fields, and your future will be assured. Achieve excellence, academic excellence like you have here today, and opportunities will not just knock on your door, they'll knock your door down. And finally, thank you for granting me the honor of speaking to you, to our future, to the future of Belize. Thank you.